Hello, everybody. A lot of people coming in.
More evenly distributed so you get that cheese flavor, right?
If everyone could mute themselves, that would be awesome. And then also, if you want to start dropping in the chat who you are and where you're from, you could all say hi to each other. And I'm just going to sit here kind of admitting everybody while you guys kind of introduce each other. We'll give people a few more minutes to come in, and then I'll start talking about Instagram. Got people from Cincinnati, Tampa, Vermont. Super cool. Virginia Beach, Arizona, sunny Ohio.
This is me. Give me a second.
Cool, cool. I'm gonna pull up my screen. Canada, New York, Pennsylvania, Alabama. Oh, that's Hannah. Hi, Hannah. I'm gonna give people a few more minutes to come in because they're still coming in pretty fast.
Okay.
Okay, I think it's starting to slow down. Cool. Yes, I'll be sending everybody this video probably today via email. So if you can't stay till the end, I mean, I encourage everybody to stay till the end. But yeah, all the video today, tomorrow, and the next day will all be sent to you guys via email. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna start, and I am going to have you guys, if you have any questions as I'm going through stuff, just put it in the chat so that I can answer it at the end. And I will also, if it's something that I'll be talking about either tomorrow or the next day, I will just answer the questions then because there's a whole bunch of stuff we're going to be covering. So, okay, let me get this. Cool, cool. Make sure everybody's muted. Present. Okie dokie. So thank you all for coming. There's like 60 of you, which is super cool, 64. So I'm sure some more people will trickle in too. But I am doing this 3-day challenge because I want all you elopement photographers and really all photographers in general to start attracting the right people, your dream couples, right? Have fun with your marketing. It should be fun. It shouldn't be super stressful. And then also stop stressing about the algorithm, because who cares about the algorithm? I'm going to teach you why you shouldn't care. So, if you don't know me, I am Megan. I have been an elopement photographer since 2016. I love Instagram, and well, actually I have a love-hate relationship with Instagram, which you will learn about. But I have booked hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of elopements all over the country. And I started coaching elopement photographers back in 2021. And now I've helped over 40 people kind of get off the struggle bus and start making six figures in their business, with probably more on the way once people start doing their taxes and see they hit six figures. And I see people using Instagram wrong all the time. And I also, have people join my programs or start coaching with me, and they have a certain mindset about Instagram and they're using it in a certain way that's kind of harmful, and it kind of sucks, and it's really not doing the job that it needs to be doing. So that's why I created this 3-day challenge, because I have a lot of information to cover, and I want to make sure that I cover all of it. And I want to make sure that you guys get as much useful information as you can to use Instagram in the right way. So the wrong way kind of to use Instagram that I see a lot of people doing is they mindlessly scroll, they play the comparison game a lot, they worry about or blame the algorithm all the time. And I'm going to teach you how to like not ever think about the algorithm. And they base their success on things like likes and followers and real views and going viral. And I'll teach you how none of that matters. They also spend hours every day on Instagram, whether it be on a post, on a reel, maybe even not posting it, trying to find audio for reels, or just mindlessly scrolling. We all spend way too much time on Instagram. And a lot of people also are afraid to show their face, and they're afraid to show their personality because of what others might think, or whatever kind of limiting beliefs are holding them back. So I want everybody to use Instagram the right way, which is by creating content that inspires and educates couples, never thinking twice about the algorithm or analytics or any of those vanity metrics, basing your success on things like engagement, like how many DMs you have in your inbox, or comments or shares, or like real relationships that you develop on Instagram. Also consistently posting because you're excited to engage with people, and creating kind of like your little online community of real friends and dream couples, so that Instagram ends up being like a safe and positive space. So we are going to cover the journey of eloping couples. I'm going to kind of show you everything I know about how eloping couples use Instagram, what they value, and what they want to see from us as photographers in order to book us. So these are some of the things, and you might find that you feel similarly as these guys. But eloping couples really value experiences over things. They enjoy deep conversations over small talk. They want to connect with their elopement vendors. They really want friendships instead of just like a client vendor relationship. They don't enjoy being the center of attention, although they do really love photography. And they feel like traditional weddings don't align with their values. And I think a lot of elopement photographers or wannabe elopement photographers can really, vibe with that, or feel like that's them too, because I feel the same way about all this stuff. So keep having to move our faces back and forth. After deciding that they want to elope, couples often have no idea what they're doing. If you think about like a friend who's outside of this industry, yeah, you can imagine that elopement couples are just like, we don't know. We see these pretty photos. We have this idea. We kind of started planning a wedding, and we found out that that wasn't the thing for us. Now we want to elope, but like, how the F do you elope, So there's lots of questions that couples have. And these are just some of them. But these are the things that we need to keep in mind when we are planning content for our ideal couples. So like, how do we choose a ceremony location? Who are the best local vendors? What do we even do for 8 hours or 12 hours or multiple days? What's the best day of the week to elope? How do we make it legal? Where should we stay? We're coming from out of state. We have no idea what we're doing. What is there to do around this area? Is there a good restaurant nearby where we can have a nice dinner? Can we include some family and friends? Can we include our dog? Sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, how many guests can we have? What if we want our grandparents to be at the ceremony? There's just like a million questions that couples have. So they want to find a photographer and they want to hire them based on their knowledge about these things, based on their photos, and also their personality. So here are some of the things that couples are looking for when they're like scrolling Instagram and come across your Instagram. For one, it's locations. Locations is like the most important thing. The majority of eloping couples, you know, maybe start planning a wedding, then they find out that they can elope. Then they're like, ooh, this really seems more my style. Now they choose a location. They think, oh, we want to elope in Hawaii, or we want to do this in the mountains of Colorado, or even, you know, on the East Coast in New Hampshire. And so they've decide on a location 99 times out of 100, and then they reach out to a photographer that serves that location. And they want to make sure that they're hiring somebody that knows about this location, that's kind of an authority or an expert in this location. And I'm mainly talking about couples that want to invest in the elopement experience. I don't cater to price hagglers. So everything that I'm talking about here and that I'm going to talk about is how you're going to create content and appeal and nurture to couples that want a truly epic elopement experience, and they're ready to invest in it. So they also want to see your photos. That is important. Elopement couples, like, they want to see the photos of the location where they want to elope. They want to know what they're getting. But they also want to have options, but feel confident that you understand the area, that you're going to help them plan their unique vision for their day, and that you can help with the logistics, because oftentimes they're worried about like, well, how do we get from here to there? And, you know, like, what if, you know, we do want to have some guests? What if we want to have a dog? Like, they want to make sure that you're able to help them with that stuff. And again, personality is huge. This isn't just like being another vendor for a wedding. Elopement couples want to hire photographers and just vendors in general that align with their values, that they can talk to, that they feel comfortable with, that they maybe share some hobbies or activities that they like to do with, and that, you know, someone that'll celebrate them as a couple and really be excited about their elopement day. Because a lot of times these people are, you know, they're dealing with some family drama back home, or friends that are upset that they're not invited. So having somebody really in their corner is important to them. They also want to know about activities. Not every elopement couple wants to do really strenuous hikes and crazy outdoorsy stuff, but, you know, they might want to cut a cake or shotgun beers, or, you know, go to a brewery or kayak. I mean, there's tons of things that you can do on an elopement day, and they are going to want to not only be inspired by some of these activities and see photos of them, but also, you know if they are doing something a little crazy, like going in a helicopter or wanting to hike, that you are happy to do that and okay to do that. And I kind of touched on it, but couples that want to elope often have a lot of concerns and stressors at home. They might be concerned about their family drama, or not inviting certain people, or grandma can't attend, or even their parents, or they're stressed about the weather and timelines and the locations. And like, they realize like they stepped away from a wedding because it was stressing them out, but then they realize that eloping also has a lot of moving parts, and there's, you know, there's things about it that they don't understand. So they start stressing about that too. So if you can relieve them of that stress, that like will seal the deal for them. So you want to create content that addresses these questions and these concerns that they have. And yeah, understanding that kind of that process, and like getting in their shoes is really important when you're on Instagram creating content for them. So again, I see people doing kind of the wrong stuff all the time. So the wrong type of content that they're not going to care about is explaining why you charge higher prices. You know, they don't really like, it'd be like me as a business coach being like, I charge high prices because it costs me a lot of money to do this. And I have all these, you know, monthly costs that I have to take care of. You guys don't care about that, right? Like you want to, if you were to hire a business coach, it's because I solve a problem for you. You don't care about what my business expenses are. It's the same for elopement couples. They don't care if you are up late editing and struggling and that it's expensive to run a business and that you have a lot of fear, and they don't care about that stuff. They care about how you answer their questions. So they also don't care about how expensive your gear is, drunk groomsmen, forgetting SD cards, you know, whatever trends are going on in the photography industry. You know, a lot of people are making content for other photographers, not for their ideal couples. And it drives me nuts seeing all that stuff because there's so many possible ways and so many answers to questions and so many cool photos that we can show and stories that we can tell that will attract our ideal couples. This isn't it. What they want to see is location-specific resources and photos that show you're an expert. There are people wanting to elope everywhere, all over the country. Even, you know, somebody said boring Ohio or something. There's people eloping everywhere. So wherever you choose to become the expert, like there are people searching for you. And then also activities and like, what does an 8-hour timeline look like? What can you do to fill that time? Right now, if you're kind of in the beginning stages of building an elopement business, you might think that like 2 hours is enough, 4 hours is enough. Once you start booking a lot of 8-hour stuff, you're going to realize that 8 hours isn't even really enough. There's so much cool stuff to do and document. And like the people who really value their elopement and want to invest in it want ideas for what they can do. They also want resources that answer their questions. They want to know your personality. Like that's a huge one that a lot of people miss. And then they also want to see like testimonials and social proof and behind the scenes and kind of what it's like to work with you. These are especially things that are important to post on Instagram because we can't always, you know, we can't really post a bunch of videos of us working behind the scenes on our website. So another kind of like recap about eloping couples is that they've already made the decision to elope and now they need to know how to do it, right? That's kind of how we build value, is like answering their questions and explaining how to do it. They don't need to be convinced to elope. They need to know how they're doing it. They want to hire experts in the location that they chose, and they want to build connections with their vendors. And we need to give them a platform to be able to do that. So, let's see. So really, the way I see, like, that's the kind of the content they want to see, which we're going to get way more in depth in tomorrow. But I also want to show you how couples are using Instagram, because it's really in 3 different ways. One is they are searching hashtags and SEO on Instagram specifically for us. Number 2 is they're already following you. And then number 3 is they are searching other marketing channels like Google, Pinterest, and TikTok. And then they are checking your Instagram to like learn more about you and kind of do a vibe check is what I call it. So I want us to really step in their shoes and see how they're using Instagram. So I'm going to ask that you all take out your phones and open up Instagram because I can only do so much on a computer. But if you search, like, let's say for a hashtag, we'll do a hashtag, and you search for Colorado elopement photographer, you'll see top posts. I'm going to get my phone out too, though. Let's see. So if you, let's search for hashtag Colorado elopement photographer. Okay, so you'll see like these are the top posts that kind of show up, right? And it's funny because some of them are different than what I'm seeing here. You can also filter and go to recent top posts, which is really just like chronological order. And so people can kind of find you, and it has nothing to do with like how many likes you have. And let's see. Like some of these have like 2 likes on them. But yeah, and some of them aren't even Colorado. They're like all over the place. There's like Las Vegas I'm seeing. There's like Red Rocks and stuff like that. Family photos and detail photos and stuff like that. But if I'm somebody wanting to elope in Colorado and I am searching this hashtag for people, like I want to find, you know, pictures of couples in a mountain, right? And so some of these have a lot of likes, some of them don't. Like this one has 11 likes. So again, like we get really into the likes and stuff like that. But like if people are searching in chronological order, none of that matters. It's just like whatever pops up first. So then like, let's say they see a cool photo and like this one with the dog. And then they go check out who that is. And there's like tons of cool, you know, Colorado elopement type stuff here. So this could like really attract a couple wanting to elope in the mountains of Colorado. If we go to this one, be funny if some of these people are in here. This one has some party photos, some ultrasound photos, but it's all still like a vibe. So maybe this would attract an elopement couple, but maybe not, because there's also like some bigger wedding stuff and like just couples and dogs. So, and like a wedding party. So this is a really pretty vibe, but may or may not really attract an elopement couple. Let's see. Let's see, this one is another one. And then, yeah, so there's a bunch of reels here. Says elopement photographer. And again, like one of the things that, you know, a couple is going to want to see is like a bunch of mountain stuff, you know, and this goes like for lots of other locations. Like if somebody wants to elope in Arizona, they're probably looking for someone who does a lot of stuff in, you know, red rocks and desert landscapes and stuff like that. So like this is just kind of showing you how people navigate this, and then it doesn't really have anything to do with you know, your likes and stuff. It really just has to do with if you posted something around the time that somebody is searching for that thing. So if you really focus in on one location and like you're posting lots of Colorado content, that would probably be better for you than posting lots of things all over the place, because you might miss that person who's searching for hashtags. And then this person, you know, she's got stuff all over the place. There's some like snowy Colorado stuff. And then there's also, let's see, there's a couple like desert things, but overall, like I would say somebody who wants to elope in the Colorado mountains might like this. So that's how people are kind of navigating Instagram. Let's go back. Okay, the second way that people are doing Instagram is that they're all already following you. And in this case, like really, I would look at your follower counts. It doesn't really matter how many you have. More followers does not equal a successful business. I have plenty of folks with like 1,000 followers who make 6 figures. So, but remember that these people they're real people that you can interact with and post content for, and they like your content already. That's why following you. So kind of understanding that it's really about posting for them, not posting for like all these random people that you are hoping are going to find you. It's really about posting for them and creating a community for them. So look at your, followers right now. These are real people. They are couples that you've worked with in the past. They are friends. They are other photographers. They are couples that might work with you in the future. They're all interested in you and your work. And it's really important to, again, build this trust with people before they're going to reach out and book with you. And the way you do that is through know, like, trust. So again, when you're creating content, you're imagining how people are using Instagram, you're like wanting to answer their questions, but what it really comes down to, the basis of all this content is helping people to get to know you, get to like you, and then trust you enough to book you for their elopement. And I think a lot of people kind of forget about this stuff. So to get to know you, again, like, I want you guys to focus on like who you are and share things about yourself, like where you live, your Enneagram number, your pets, where you went to school, hobbies, activities, all that kind of stuff. Like, you should be part of your Instagram strategy should incorporate you as a person and showing your face and helping people get to know you. And again, like, encouraging them to engage with you as your followers. You want people to like you, and that's a little bit more nuanced. But and you're not meant to be liked by everybody as you're marketing yourself as an elopement photographer, but you can help people like you by sharing that educational, inspirational, and entertaining content that like the answers to those questions and the photos that people want to see and activities and stuff like that. And again, we're going to get a lot more into content tomorrow. I just want you guys to know more of like the why and the what behind all of this. And then building trust is a lot about social proof. So not only are you, you have great photos, you have a cool personality, but then you also have evidence of other people working with you. And you have selfies with your couples, you have behind the scenes video of you working with them, or location scouting, or like, doing some work at your computer. And then you have, testimonials and reviews of people who really like working with you. So kind of understanding that, like, not only do we have to picture what our couples are doing and what they want out of their search on Instagram, we also have to encourage them to know, like, and trust us. And it's once they trust us that they will book with us. Another way to think about it is, as far as like your followers, is building a community. Like, you'll see all the time, like, when you look at other companies like marketing, like Pepsi or Bud Light or something, they're always, they have a party, right? They like have this party, and they want you to want to be a part of that party that they've created for their product. And your Instagram, your social media is kind of like that community or that party that other people might want to be a part of. So you can do that again by celebrating what you do, celebrating your couples, and having people kind of like find you and be like, oh, I really want to be a part of this. I want to be celebrated like this one couple. I want to see myself in these photos. I want to, hang out with this person. So yeah, building a community is really about creating a party that people want to be a part of, FOMO kind of. And then also developing connections, getting deep and vulnerable and being real and authentic with people. Vulnerability doesn't mean necessarily like sharing every bad thing in the world, but it does mean, sharing enough that people are like, wow, this is a real person. This isn't just like the highlight reel of this person. Kind of being okay with being imperfect, essentially. And then and having conversations with people, that is really key. So often I'll hear, or I'll ask people that start working with me, like, how many conversations are you having with people in your DMs? And they're like, well, none. And I'm like, but that's where all the fun happens on Instagram, is like commenting on your couple's dogs, or them commenting on your dog, or like sharing what you're eating or what you're reading, so that other people feel like they can be like, oh, I love that book, just like silly little things like that, that really let people in and help them realize what you are and what you're and you can also do things like asking questions, sharing polls and stuff like that. Like, but you really don't want to just be putting things out there. Like, you want to engage with other people just as much as you want them to engage with you. So yeah, you want community, conversations, connection, you want know, like, trust. And the third way that couples are going to find you is actually by finding you on Google, Pinterest, or TikTok, and then going to your Instagram account to do this vibe check or check out more of your personality. You should have personality and kind of try to build know, like, trust and answer questions and stuff like that on your website, you know, or, you know, in your TikToks, or like if you're pinning your blog posts in there, like you can do all those things on every marketing channel, but Instagram is a lot more personal. So people will still, even if they found you through other marketing channels, they will come to Instagram to check you out. And what that looks like is very similar to before, but basically it's this way of thinking of Instagram as like this bingeable content. So again, let me see. Let's find another Colorado person. See, that looks like Colorado. Yeah, so somebody's going to come here and they're going to look at, you know, your stories, they're going to look at your bio, they're going to look at your highlights, they're going to look at your reels, you know, and they're going to kind of binge your content. So I think what a lot of people are trying to do when they post on Instagram is kind of like capture all these unknown people and go viral and get a lot of likes and views and stuff like that. But people don't remember that Instagram is also evergreen, meaning it exists forever. And so somebody who comes to your Instagram profile, you know, months from now can still look at the stuff that you've posted from months before. So, you know, they are going to come here and they're going to look at your reels and they're going to try to figure out your personality and what your photos are like, and, you know, if you can help them with stuff. And so it's important to have all that stuff there, if not to like, not even for necessarily capturing people's attention day by day, but for people to binge your stuff so that they can decide if they want to work with you or not. So a lot of what I teach people is you really want to market to them on the front end before they even inquire. By the time they inquire, you want them to be like, okay, this is the person for me. I loved their website. I loved their reels. I loved their photos. I thought they were funny. I started watching their stories and they have the same dog as me. Like whatever they can, however they can connect with you, you got to give them that option to connect with you essentially. So, you know, people are going to go through and they're going to look at all the stuff and they're going to decide if you're the person for them or not, but you have to have that stuff there available for them to decide that stuff, right? So, let's go back. Can't move the faces. There we go. Come on, move. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so now that I've kind of given like just like this overview of the low-band couple's journey, how they come across your Instagram, what they're looking for, I want to, and before we get into like all the major content stuff that we're doing tomorrow, like I have 30 days of ideas and we'll talk about captions and posts versus reels versus stories and stuff like that. But I also want to touch on the things that I know a lot of people get worried about when it comes to Instagram. So one is that it's always changing. And I feel like people always hate the changes, which I think is silly because as business owners, like change just happens and you just have to pivot with it whenever it does. I know people they didn't like how little reach they got with posts, and then, you know, Instagram came out with reels and reels had more reach, but then people didn't like what they had to do on reels when really you can do anything you want on reels that you feel comfortable doing. But yeah, I think that going in to using Instagram with this idea that like you're just gonna be authentic and real and post for your ideal couples and and not worry about any of this other stuff and like just pivot with the changes as they come, it's a lot more freeing than a lot of the scarcity mindset stuff where people are like, I don't like what's happening. It's different. Like it's always going to change all the time. So, the algorithm is another thing. No one understands the algorithm, not even the people who work at Instagram. What we know about the algorithm is that it favors content that keeps people on the app. So things that keep people scrolling. And yeah, and that's kind of one of my issues with Instagram these days is that people do just scroll. Like even if they find you on Instagram, a lot of times they keep scrolling, and they might forget about you or move on to somebody else or whatever. But the algorithm has nothing to do with your success as a business owner, and you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to look at your analytics. You don't need to look at your follower count, likes, or your real views. None of that determines your success as a photographer, and I'll talk more about that, not tomorrow, but the next day. But you don't ever have to worry about the algorithm. You don't have to give it a second thought. What you need to be thinking about is who your ideal couples are and the questions you can answer for them and how you can inspire them with your photos and your activities and your personality. Another common concern is that you're boring, and you're not. Nobody's boring. Everybody has quirks and things that they're into, and you have to show those things for eloping couples to be able to connect with you. Yeah, they're going to connect with, if you never share anything about yourself, they're just going to move on because they have to have that personality component in order to hire you. So even like, you know, if you think of just like the 5 things, which is going to be a homework assignment for you, 5 things about yourself that you can share. You know, I can say I'm 6 feet tall. I own 2 pit bulls. I own a Jeep. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and my favorite color is turquoise. And then you look at somebody else who is, I don't know, 5'2", drives a Mercedes, lives in Beverly Hills, favorite color is pink, you know, like owns a Chihuahua. Obviously that's Elle Woods, you know? So like you can use those 5 things and people will be able to immediately figure out whether like you're the person for them or not. And you want to be matched up with the right couples for you. So, so this idea that you're boring or whatever, you're not boring. You need to put yourself out there. You need to let people connect with you, even if it's over something like a favorite color or a type of dog. Another thing is that it takes too long. And yes, the traditional way that people wake up every day thinking about posting on Instagram takes way too long and is not worth the time and energy as far as building your business. Waking up every day and worrying about what you're going to post on Instagram is not it. And then doom scrolling and spending hours, like you're way better off doing other stuff, which again, I'm going to talk about not tomorrow, but the next day. But you can definitely batch edit your stuff. And you can create like 10 posts that you can schedule out over several weeks. And, you know, do it quickly. And I'm going to give you more information about that tomorrow. But yeah, schedule out your posts. Don't wake up every day worrying about what you're going to post. You're going to use my caption ideas tomorrow. And you're going to be able to batch edit stuff really quickly. And that is the key because yeah, doom scrolling and comparing yourself to other people is not the way to build a business. Other people have a common concern of they're perfectionists, so nothing that they do is ever good enough to post or whatever. And again, perfectionism is a little bitch. I say that all the time. And from today forward, I want you to be a B or even a C student because you have to choose action over perfectionism to build your business. You cannot stay stuck. Like perfectionism is like chains on you that keeps you from progressing in the business. And so it's better to put things out that aren't perfect, that have typos that you feel uncomfortable about. It's better to do that kind of stuff than to be perfect. The people who have really amazing businesses are all B, C, or even D students. I used to say I was a B student. Now I'm like straight up a C student, you know? Like I just get things out there. If I'm uncomfortable, I do it. And then I get the reps in and then I'm able to feel better about it after a period of time. Another common concern is mental health. And that's legitimate, you know, like you always want to prioritize your mental health. But I think that this also has a lot to do with mindless scrolling, comparing, and then consuming more than you create. If you're creating more than you consume and you are, you know, talking with your fave people and really like developing relationships and friendships on the app, then like that's what I do. And I feel like it's my happy place, you know. But if you're consuming a lot, doom scrolling, comparing yourself to others and not really taking action and just getting stuck in thought loops about how your business sucks, like, yeah, it's gonna definitely be struggle bus territory. So I hope that through this challenge, you will change your mindset about what you should be doing. And also mute people, block people, unfollow people, you know, like you can put your blinders on and never look at another photographer's work again and still be very, you know, successful in what you do and probably more successful. So yeah, stop comparing yourself to other people. And remember that success isn't follower counts, it's not likes, it's not going viral. Success on Instagram is conversations in your DMs, it's people sharing your content, it's creating friendships, and it's also providing all the information people need in order to feel confident in booking you as their elopement photographer before they even reach out. So tomorrow I'll be covering captions. I have 30 days of content that I want you to consider. I'm going to teach you captions. I'm going to teach you the difference between posts and reels and stories and what to use and stuff like that. But I want you to make this easier for tomorrow, I have homework for you. I want you to write down 10 questions that elopement couples have for the location that you want to work in. It could be the same 10 questions that I talked about earlier. It could be new questions. I want you to think about that because that's really what we need to create content around. I want you to write down 5 things about yourself that you can share. I want you to pick out up to 7 couples that you can share their photos and stories. And then I want you to find 3 testimonials that you can share about working with you. And this is going to make making like 3 months worth of content super freaking easy if you can come up with this stuff by tomorrow. And now I'm going to go to questions. We have 23 chats going on. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Hello. Yes, those are so cringe. Why would you want to look unprofessional? Will each of these sessions be emailed to us? Yes. I'll be the first to admit I've been going about Instagram all wrong. Truth is, I really don't like doing it, but I'm happy to learn a new approach. Yeah, the way that people like the wrong way of doing Instagram, like nobody likes that way. So, and yeah. And then am I the only person who doesn't care about being myself on my social media? It's like the only thing I don't need help with. That's awesome. You share things about yourself all the time. Yeah, some people are really good about that. And other people are like, I've never posted my face on Instagram ever. And it's not on my website or anything. And it's like, that might work for like wedding photographers, but for elopement photographers, like you need your personality everywhere. So Jenny Frost, I just wish I could dig into my brain and figure out the things that I can educate people on. That's where I always get stuck. I know I have things I could teach people about, but I get totally blank when I try to think of what it is I want to share. Go back to those questions. That's always really important. We'll watch the rest on replay. Gotta go. Cool. My elopement couples typically only want 2 to 3 hours of coverage. How do you show the value of an 8-hour day? Yeah, so I pretty much don't let anybody book me for under 8 hours. And so a lot of and like there's a lot that goes into this. I did a whole masterclass on it a couple of months ago, but like showing them all the activities that they could do is huge. Having your pricing on your website and have it include an 8-hour elopement. Like the majority of people only have like elopement starting at blah, blah, blah for 2 hours. Like get rid of that because that's a huge reason why so many couples think that only a couple hours is okay. And I will tell you, 8 hours isn't even enough for most people, especially in like beautiful locations and including a meal and activity and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, that's a huge whole topic. But like having 8 hours of coverage on your website is like one of the big things. And then photos of activities. Down with perfectionism. Yes. Chronic perfectionist over here. Best advice ever to be a C student. Yes. Crippling. Yep. I have more imposter syndrome and totally hate my posts right after I post them. Let's see. I got 5 things about me, 10 questions, then missed one, and 3 testimonies. Oh, is that the homework that you guys didn't get? Let me see. Let's see. I just moved across country, but it looks like I'm 2 hours away from an elopement hotspot. Would you say the best way to start over is do some styled shoots, create a vendor list, create some content? Yeah, definitely getting photos of the places where you want to shoot is huge because the people who are booking, let me make my face bigger so you can see me. The people.
You about to have a tornado?
Somebody else is on
It's
here.
like shelter. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, what?
Let's mute everybody. I want myself down here. How do I get that? Okay, well, I don't know why it's doing that. But anyway, so yeah, the best thing if you want to target a location as an elopement photographer is to get photos there. And that's huge. And not just photos at golden hour where it's like pretty portraits, like you want the ceremony, you want activities, you want getting ready, first look, first dance, you know, popping champagne, shotgunning beers, eating pizza, having a picnic, going somewhere else, you know, like you want to think of what you can do throughout a whole day. And you don't necessarily need to spend 8 hours doing that, but you want to give a lot of content, not just some portraits. And I'm a photographer coming back after taking years of a break. I have a lot of content from styled shoots. I mean, yeah, just I mean, photos are definitely a huge part of the equation, but remember, it's like, it's photos, it's knowledge, and it's your personality. You need all of those things to book elopement couples. Sierra, just here to say that you're amazing. I'm so proud to be part of the mastermind community. Love you, Megan. I love you too, Sierra. What is the best way to get couples in areas you want to break into? Again, getting styled shoots there. The people who will spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 on a full elopement day experience, they want to see the photos of the location so that they know what they're purchasing, you know? Lydia, I've been avoiding Instagram altogether and I've been really afraid to share myself, even though I am a nut at weddings and make people have so much fun. Also, I'm not an elopement photographer, but really, really want to be. Then Lydia, I would start getting, you know, everyone's afraid of things that they've never done before. So just start gradually and start sharing yourself and you'll see that people really respond to it. And again, that's a huge part of why people go, like elopement couples go to your Instagram, is to learn more about your personality. And it's not that like, if on day 3, we're going to talk a lot about incorporating this with Google and Pinterest. So if you do have a lot of people finding your Instagram through other marketing channels, which is what I do and a lot of my students do, then you can be like, you can have not posted on Instagram for months, but people are still binging all your old stuff when they find you. So it's really cool once you get the hang of it. You don't have to be present on Instagram as much, or you can just post on your stories and not do posts and reels as much, knowing that people can just like binge your stuff and find out about you. So yeah, possible to still be successful with elopements if you're not in a good location. I live in DMV. Kitty, that is a good location for elopements. Juliana Wall is one of my mastermind members turned, oh yeah, there's Juliana. She just commented on that. She is based in DC and Virginia, and she books 8+ hour elopements on the regular and has made well over 6 figures. And there's a huge market for elopements, all day elopements in that area. So It's not just out west in the mountains and stuff like that. It's everywhere. Rachel says she struggles showing her face on Instagram. I think it's a mindset thing. Do you have any tips on how to get over this? And you're super awkward. Well, every elopement couple starts their elopement by saying, I'm super awkward, you know, so be awkward on Instagram and they'll love you. Like the quirkier and weirder you are, the better. Because elopement couples are quirky and weird and they don't want to be the center of attention and they want somebody that they can feel comfortable with. And yep, same time tomorrow. Oh, and Todd, who is my husband, just posted the homework assignment. For elopements, do you have any recommendations for how to set up styled shoots when I travel or any content retreats you recommend? God, there's so many content retreats, I don't even know where to start. But I really like doing my own styled shoots. That's really how I broke into a lot of different places like Colorado and Utah and Arizona and Hawaii and all that stuff. Yeah, I would recommend planning your own styled shoots. One of my mastermind members just reached out to like some couple that she found on Instagram, actually. You can join local Facebook groups and ask people. You can ask photographers if they want to switch. So really, it's just about going out there and asking. I think a lot of people are just afraid to ask. And I think when you ask, you get tons of yeses. Like I remember posting one time, because my best friend lives in New Orleans, and I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to do an elopement in New Orleans. So I posted in like a college group, some weird college group, and I got like 150 couples emailing me about modeling for me. So there's a lot of people that want to do it. Okay. Top right corner, is that like that's what I was trying to do, was the view option, and it wasn't putting me where I wanted to. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. Peter, what's your best tips to be able to book my first elopement? I've not booked one ever, but I know I have the ability to shoot epic elopement photos. If this is the Peter I've been talking to, then you should join my mastermind, duh. But if you have no photos of elopements, then I would start with styled shoots, honestly. Again, because people need to see that you're an expert. They want to see what kind of photos they're going to be getting. They want to know that you can walk them through the process. And so yeah, definitely. Yes, it's me. I thought it was you. So you definitely want to have the photos in the portfolio. That's part of it. Yeah, and then I mean, there's a whole marketing strategy to it, which I'm going to talk more about, not tomorrow, but the next day. That includes Google as a big part of it. But having the portfolio is a big part of it as well. Let's see. To post yourself, do you do your own photos or would you have someone else do it for you? I mean, it's totally up to you. Like, you don't have to make all this stuff really professional or anything. Like, you could do iPhone photos, you can do professional photos, you can do selfies. Like, it's really just, it's more about showing your personality than having it be some professional photo shoot of yourself or something like that. If you share testimonials or client text reactions all the time, would there be something specific we should be doing with them? I mean, doing posts with testimonials, sharing them on your stories is good. Having them on your website is good. Like, you really just want to have the social proof that you are, you know, that people enjoy working with you. Like if there was, oh, this is a good example. If there are two restaurants that you're trying to decide between and one was, you know, completely empty and no one was in there and the other one had tons of people, like you would assume that the one with tons of people was popular because the food is good, right? So that's kind of why you want to share social proof, to like show like, yeah, people are working with me and they love it. What if you can't go there beforehand, but you still want to work in these places around the world and don't have anything to show of the location first? Is the only option to go there? I mean, yeah, pretty much, Taya. Sorry, but if you've like this idea that you can just be like a destination elopement photographer and people are just going to hire you for all of these places that you've never been to before or you don't have a portfolio for, that's just not how it works. You have to pick a location and you have to learn about that location. And you have, look, I have hair in my mouth. Sorry. You have to be an expert in that location. You have to learn how to pivot and go to a backup location. If the weather is bad, you need to be able to like give them ideas of where to go, where to stay. You need like vendor relationships, you know, like we need to protect these areas. So really like going there first and getting to know it and being like, I'm going to make money from this place and I'm going to be a good steward of this location and I'm going to treat this location well. That's how you want to be an elopement photographer. People come to me all the time where it's like, yeah, I just, you know, I tell people I go everywhere, but no one will hire me for anywhere. And it's because people are searching for photographers in specific locations. So if you are somebody who just works any and everywhere versus somebody who is an expert in, you know, Virginia, DC, Shenandoah National Park elopements, then and the couple wants to elope there, they're going to pick the expert in that location. They're not going to pick somebody who's never been there before. So it's really important to get to pick a location and become an expert in that location. That's what I teach everybody. And then you can pick another location, and then you can pick another location. And do I get booked in random cool places every once in a while? Yes. But I have to make an income that I can depend on, and I can depend on my Colorado income and my Zion income, but I can't depend on Iceland or Hawaii or some of these random places I've been booked for. You really have to be like a expert in those spots. Yes, I'll be sending out the recording. There are Facebook groups for styled shoots. Yes. I live in paradise. I can't wait to hear what you have to say tomorrow. Yes, yes, yes. Can you share the best way wording to post in a Facebook group for couples? I mean, you just say, I'm doing a style shoot. Who wants to be a part of it? You know, like we shouldn't make this any more difficult than it has to be. What are we calling all day elopements? Long elopements, all day elopements, 24-hour elopements. Yeah, you can say 12 hours, 12-hour elopement, 8-hour elopement, split between, yeah, all of those things. You can have multi-day ones, all that stuff. Oh, Nicole coming in. Join her mastermind. I should take a photo of that. That's a really cute one, Nicole. What are some areas I'm struggling to find? Oh, Juliana questioned that. How many locations would you recommend being an expert in? Is it just a region or a state? Yeah, so I mean, you can pick, so different places, this is where it gets kind of tricky, because like Colorado, you could be like a Colorado expert because so many people see Colorado as like just mountains, you know, but then like California has so many different types of landscapes, so people aren't Googling California elopement photographer the way they do Colorado. So it's like they're looking at Yosemite, they're looking at Big Sur, they're looking at San Diego, stuff like that. And let's see. So yeah, so you can target all of those. Like you can target bigger spots, you can target just a national park. But the point is to target something and not just be like, oh yeah, I travel anywhere, because that really falls flat for people. How do you charge when you might be traveling 4+ hours away to do an elopement? Yeah, you just figure out your travel costs. I mean, I travel for every single one of my elopements, so the travel is always included in all my pricing, but that's the way to do it, is basically be like, here's my 8-hour, you know, package for this location, and just have everything included in there. Best way to transition from weddings to elopements, join my mastermind, because it's not easy, but it's possible. It just requires a lot more marketing than people are used to with weddings. So a lot of times when they transition on their own, their business just falls flat. Because you really do have to know how to market yourself. How to get started, connected with vendors. Yeah, just email them or DM them, you know. Let's see. La la la. Any advice for someone doing a complete brand change? How do I introduce transition my Instagram smoothly? I would just switch right over, you know, like don't worry about the transition. Like just like, I mean, you can archive old stuff, but people don't swipe past a couple swipes. So as long as you start doing your new, you know, what's it called? Posts and stuff like that, like the old ones will just kind of go away. So I would just cold turkey commit and switch. And Raphael, if you have any questions, message me. Let's see. How do you define an elopement? It's really, yeah, I mean, for me, an elopement is something that involves me really helping the couple with a ceremony location and kind of managing all this stuff, and there's really no venue involved. And so for that, I really limit the guests because a lot of these spots, like they don't have parking, they don't have bathrooms. Yeah. And a lot of it's just kind of like semantics. I had somebody who was like, oh, I'm having a micro wedding and there's only 80 people. And I'm like, well, we don't really do anything for more than 5 people. How do you find local vendors? Just yeah, like researching Instagram or Google. Let's see. I've been having a blast with photography as a hobby, capturing moments with family, friends. I'm thinking of turning it into my full-time gig. Any advice on charging people without it being awkward? I mean, that's a whole thing. Everybody should read the book. You Are Badass at Making Money, because you should know your cost of doing business and how much it's going to cost you to make a profit. And it's probably a lot more than you think. And again, like when you provide people with a lot of value, like when you think about the questions they have and how you can answer them for them, then a lot of people, you know, they don't mind. There's a lot of people out there who want to invest in photography, but they aren't as vocal as price shoppers are. And yeah, and then Kookie saying, thank you. Can you also talk about how to find the best Facebook groups? Because most are trying to talk you down. Forget Facebook groups. That is a waste of time, waste of money, all that stuff. Lily's saying it's discouraging to see photographers post their $800 packages for 10 hours. Yeah, I have literally not been in a Facebook group in like years. I think Facebook is toxic. I don't involve Facebook in any of my marketing. I do run some ads on there, but that's what Meta Ads decides to do. But as far as my elopement photography goes, I do not do anything in Facebook groups. So Facebook groups will have you thinking everyone's a price shopper. They'll have you terrified to raise your prices. They'll have you in scarcity mode. They'll give you awful advice. So I don't recommend Facebook groups at all, unless you're in the like, well, yeah, unless you're like posting for a style shoot, maybe, but otherwise, like for business advice and everything, like they're just awful. That's my opinion. So, okay, so we got through all the questions, yay. And there's still 59 of you here. That's so exciting. Yes, Kookie, for a style shoot, you can do that for anything photography, business and advice, or like, you know, somebody like those things where someone's like, oh, I'm getting married and so and I'm looking for a photographer. Total waste of time. And yeah, but if you have a styled shoot and you want to post in like a college group or like a, I don't know, some kind of group to ask for a couple to model for you, that's fine. And Todd, my husband, just posted the homework. I'll be sending out this as a to the group so that you can rewatch it. And tomorrow I'll be giving you my 30 days of content ideas, which you can stretch out over like 3 months. I'll be talking about posts, reels, stories, and the anatomy of a caption, including a hook, storytelling, and a call to action. So yeah, come prepared with that stuff if you can, and I will see you tomorrow. And then does anyone want to put on their camera and like smile for me so I can take a little screenshot? No one has their cameras on. Oh, there's some faces. So I wasn't here all alone talking to a screen. Hello, I see some of my mastermind girls. Thank you for coming. Oh, even my husband turned on his. Hi, Todd. Okay, all right. If everyone just wants to smile, I'm just gonna take a little screenshot. Hi. Let me see page 2. No, no one has theirs on page 2. It's just the page 1 people. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. Definitely come tomorrow. Definitely come Monday 3 because I have a lot more stuff and I'll answer a lot more questions for you. Sound good?
Yep. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.